One man wrote me a letter that I do not know, Baba, whatever, I have decided to do a certain thing under the certain circumstances, at a certain time, under the certain circumstances, I decided to behave in such a manner. But when actually I am confronted with the circumstances, I am not able to do it at all, and I feel very much frustrated. And in spite of my trying best means that man must have spent a lot of his time and lot of his attention to follow his own decision and to obey Baba. But he was absolutely unsuccessful. And then in the end, I went and read that letter to Baba, and Baba said, "Tell that fool, this is my will." But we can't make that as an excuse and go on behaving in an irresponsible manner in life. That is why sometimes I hesitate to say this. Try your best means there is no limit to your trying. And until you are most honestly satisfied that you have tried your best. Not for the matter of finding an excuse that I shall put excuse before Baba and say that I have tried my best and go in my own way to fulfill my own desires against the wishes of Baba. Once, what happened? In the Mohammedan religion, there is a day of judgment. And the day of judgment comes when God invites the entire humanity and sits on the golden throne like this and dispenses justice. So what is the justice? Those who have committed virtues, they are selected and sent to heaven. And those who have committed vices, those who have committed sins, they are selected and sent to hell. And big, huge conference was there, you see. Millions of souls standing and God sitting on the throne, and this whole procedure was going on. One man stands up with his hand up and says, "God, oh God, halt!" What? God says, "This man I do not know. How can he come and challenge my authority? This fellow, where has he come from? I want to ask you something. Ask me something at such a time, such a critical time." "Yes, sir, I have to ask. I would request you with my folded hands not to proceed further. You can give your judgment just a little later after answering my question. Shall I put that question to you?" God was in a fix. Well, all right, you come forward. The man goes forward. What is your question? "Sir, I want to ask you one thing." "What?" Please tell me whether your sense of justice exceeds your generosity, or your generosity exceeds your sense of justice. Oh, God was absolutely confused. He didn't know. If I say that I do not have enough generosity, I am generosity personified. If I say justice, if the scale goes that way. If I say generosity, I do not know what to answer. Eventually he said, "No, my generosity is greater than my sense of justice." If that is so, the man says, "I am the most sinful man in the world." Then God says, "You are pardoned." Amongst the multitudes of crowd there present, they just held a small meeting between themselves. He says, "Oh, this man has gained all 100% pardon. Why should we not try? Let us stand up and ask questions and get a release from this, because we would be saved, because we have committed many, many sins." Almost all agreed. A number of them agreed. Then a wise man came forward and said, "You fools, you will not succeed." So why? Do you have that conviction in you? What conviction? That God is identified with generosity so much? Think 10 times before you ever venture it. Otherwise you will have to go, you will be condemned for twice the length of time that you would have been before, if you try this without having the conviction about him. Then they thought over, yes, we do not have the conviction. Now what I want to say is, this man was pardoned just because he had that conviction. Such a great, unassailable, unchallengeable conviction. He was prepared. He did not know whether God would really respond. It was such a great risk that he took. Look at the strength of his conviction. that at such a moment he came forward and asked God, if somebody has got it, he can try. Otherwise, all of us should submit and obey and not prepare ourselves to go to hell. Of course, hell and heaven, according to Baba, does not exist in the sense they are represented in different religions. They are only the mental states of mind. But who knows, hell and heaven represented in the different religions, and the mental states are more poignant and maybe a greater suffering, we do not know. As somebody says, MeherBaba says, no sex, I don't know. God has created all this, I must go and have the pleasures of life. I don't recognize any sin. Sin doesn't exist for me. Why should I? He may call it sin, I do not call it sin. Well, then I tell him, Bible calls it sin, but MeherBaba doesn't call it sin. He calls it an error. It's not acceptable to. But MeherBaba says error may be more serious than a sin. No, I don't want. It may be error, it may not be error. I do not want to just accept this at all. And I will just lead my life in the way I please. How to explain this man the importance of Baba's instructions? And he wanted to just really obey. But there is something came in his way which he could not. Then I asked him a question, do you want binding or do you want freedom? Oh, no, I don't want binding. Sin was a different thing and error was something else, and binding is more. He says, I do not want binding, I want freedom. Then I said, if you want freedom, MeherBaba says, do not do this. Oh, I shall consider this now. I shall consider. That is how it is placed and put, and it becomes acceptable to. Now going back again to the state of avatarhood. Now let me just place before you that Muslims and Muslim religion, they are very orthodox, they are very fanatical about their religion. But one Muslim who came and attended in the 50s conventions that were held at Meherabad, he was so impressed that he went and wrote 2 books. He was a man from Pakistan. His name was Sahib Asmi. Sahib Asmi is his pen name. He wrote such 2 beautiful books in Urdu and Persian mixed. One, Sarod-e Javidan, that is the eternal song. Another is Sahib-e-Zaman, means the avatar. Urdu term for Sahib-e-Zaman is avatar. They don't accept avatar. Just as Christian may not accept avatar, they may accept God-man perhaps, but not the avatar. The meaning is the same, the words are different. Now in his book, he has given some description of, he has written some ghazals in which he has given certain descriptions about MeherBaba. So I will recite a few couplets. Couplets composed of 2 lines. That ghazal, you see, contains 17 couplets, but just as few which I remember, I will just recite and translate in English. As to what height the thoughts of this man could really soar, and he must have had some experience when he came and attended the two congregations, not conventions, at Meherabad, that he went and wrote these ghazals. One ghazal he said, MeherBaba Kutub-e Alam Mazhar-e Noor-e Khuda Mard-e Haq Insan-e Kamil Tajdar-e Do Sara. These 2 lines, of course, are mostly recited at the beginning of my talk every time. This time, of course, I didn't do because I wanted to recite the part of a ghazal. MeherBaba Kutub-e Alam, you are the hub or the center of the whole universe. You are the manifestation of the light of God. You are the man of God. You are the perfect man. And you are the king. You are the crowned king or the emperor of the 2 worlds. Now, when in Persian or in Urdu the 2 worlds are referred, world is outward world. We know this physical world. Another is the inward world. The inward world, as Baba has described, is composed of the subtle and the mental, both all put together, is called the inner world and this outer world. So when in Persian literature or in Urdu, these 2 worlds are mentioned, they mean the inner world, which composes of subtle and mental, and outward world is the physical world we know. the emperor of the two worlds. मेहरमाए पुर नूर तेरे जलवे रुखसार से, दो जहां रोशन है तेरे परतवे अनवार से. मेहरमाए, moon and the sun, where do they get their light from? It is because of you. If you were not there, they would not have been able to shine at all. मेहरमाए पुर नूर तेरे जलवे रुखसार, दो जहां रोशन है तेरे परतवे अनवार से. The light which you see in the two worlds, the inner light also. Inner light is far more powerful. The subtle and the mental we do not know, but we have read something about it in Baba's discourses, and God speaks. So all this light, it is because of you. If you are not there, there would be no light there at all. Meher Baba, you see, you cannot imagine a Muslim ever saying this, which I will really recite to you in the next couplet, that he is likely to be cut into pieces by Mohammedans. They are so fanatical about it. And this man says, he writes it. And he publishes it. He could not publish it in Pakistan. So I got all the printed forms in India and I published those books in India. He said, Meher Baba, Meher Baba, tu Khuda. Meher Baba, you are God. If he were to utter an assembly of Muslims, I think he would immediately be slaughtered right there. Meher Baba, tu Khuda, tujme hai jalwa gar Khuda. You are God, and in you God is manifested. Meher Baba, tu Khuda, jalwa gar, tujme hai jalwa gar Khuda. Meher Baba, surat-e insan ho to haknuma. Although you may have a face of a man, that means it means the form of a man, not the face. That's the way of expression. You have the form of a man, but you are the gateway to God. You are God manifested. You can guide us to God. Tu hai Swami Ram Tirat, tu hai Nanak, tu Kabir. Swami Ram Tirat was a great saint of northern India. He hailed from a place called Lucknow. He had written quite a number of books, and the title of the series of books was called In Woods of God Realization. Whenever his name was mentioned, Baba used to be very pleased about this. He says, Tu hai Swami Ram Tirat, tu hai Nanak, tu Kabir. Nanak is the Guru of the Sikhs. Kabir, you know, the perfect master of the central Maharashtra. And you are all that. You are Nanak, you are Kabir, you are Ram Tirat. Tu hai Nanak, tu Kabir. Kursiyo mehwo kalam tere mohabbat ke asir. He says the God, when he sits and writes the destiny of entire humanity with a tablet and a pen in his hand, that was never possible if you were not there. He says if the avatar was not there, if his love was not there, this would have been never possible for God to do, he says. And further on, still more powerfully, he says, Tu Muhammad, tu Masiha, tu Sulaiman, tu Kalim. He says, you are Muhammad Paigambar. If he utters before Muhammad is finished, he would immediately be made disembodied. Tu Muhammad, tu Masiha, tu Sulaiman, tu Kalim. You are Muhammad, you are Christ the Savior, you are Solomon, and you are Moses, all in one. Tu Muhammad, tu Masiha, tu Sulaiman, tu Kalim. He goes on saying on and on like this. And further on he says, Tu Shahanshah do alam, Badshah kainat. You are the king of the two worlds, and you are the emperor of the entire creation. Tere nizdara hone se mujmar hai nijat. He says to come within the orbit of your love is to get salvation, is to be completely freed from illusion. I don't remember so many stanzas are there, but they are so beautiful. What I want to stress here is that the concept of avatarhood has slowly and gradually penetrated into the Muslims' mind. It is very difficult, it may take long, I do not know. But they believe in the Prophet, as the Christians also do not believe in the avatar. Now in this, would you like to ask anything in whatever I said, which may have been understood or not understood? Yes.
How did you get conviction of Baba as avatar?
Or the conviction about the avatar? Yes. Now there are persons who get the conviction just as a man falls in love at the first sight. There are persons who take long to fall in love. It all differs with different persons. At least so far I am concerned, there was no problem with me for loving Baba right from the beginning. But so far as avatar was concerned, I was not convinced, and I did not bother to be convinced at all. But there were three distinct different events in my life which put together gave me an unassailable conviction that Baba is nothing but the avatar of the age. And the first one was, old Gustaji who was there with Baba. He was one of the oldest disciples of Sai Baba once, Upasni Maharaj later, and later Meher Baba. He was the only man who was a disciple under the three masters, and under Meher Baba he observed silence over 30 years. So once he told me in 1922 in Manzil-e-Mim, he said, do you know that Meher Baba, when he was blessed by Baba Jan, and later on he went to first take darshana of Sai Baba, and he prostrated himself before Sai Baba, and when he got up, Sai Baba said, Parvadigar, that means you are God. Gustaji, quite a few times he may have told me, I just did not give much importance to it. I just took a mental note that it was there, and maybe he may have said Parvadigar, so what next? That's all. Now, when Upasni Maharaj, of course, we used to go, my mother used to go, previous to Meher Baba came into our life, and whenever Upasni Maharaj came from Sakori, 50 miles away from Ahmednagar, he always entered into a small prayer room which was kept as Upasni Maharaj prayer room for a time, and later on Upasni Maharaj said that you must turn this room into a Meher Baba room. So when he was Upasni Maharaj's room, once, in the 30s now, first incident took place in 20s, then I'm talking about the 30s. I was staying at Meherabad, and sometimes in the evening I used to go home to my house. And one day when I went there, Upasni Maharaj just came along in a car from Sakori. And the first thing when he arrived in Ahmednagar, he used to just come to our house, go inside that room and sit there for 5-10 minutes or maybe 1 hour or 3-4 hours, and then go out, then stay at some other disciple's place in Ahmednagar where people used to come and take his darshan. Now on this specific afternoon he came along, and I was there. My mother Gulmai was there. When he stepped down from the car, he just went naturally into that room, and I followed, and Gulmai followed. Gulmai stood there, I stood here, and Upasni Maharaj asked Gulmai, give me a small tray and a lamp. Tray and a lamp is only called for when an arti is to be offered. An arti is always offered, it's a song of praise, it's always offered by the disciple to God or by the disciple to his master. We could never conceive of Upasni Maharaj offering arti to anybody, he himself being the master. Anyway, according to his bidding, Gulmai brought that tray and that lamp inside and handed over to him. Meher Baba's picture was placed right in front of him on a settee. He stood there and he started reciting the arti for a time. And I was wonderstruck. I do not know what was happening. And at the end of this arti, I do not remember it was his own some arti, Marathi arti. And then he turned his face and asked me a question. Adi, do you know? I said, what, sir? Do you know who Meher Baba is? I said, sir, you must know Meher Baba because you are his master much more than I do. I know Meher Baba, but I couldn't know Meher Baba more than you know. Do you know he is the avatar of the age? Oh. Gustaji said Parvadigar. Gustaji said, Sai Baba said Parvadigar. And here Upasni said avatar. And yet I was convinced, say about 60% I was convinced, not more. Later on, I don't specifically remember, it was at, some say it was at Hamirpur, some say it was at Dehradun, some say here or there. I don't know. I definitely know that Baba declared himself as the avatar. And then when I heard this, I put all these three things together And my conviction became ever established that Meher Baba is nothing but the avatar of the age. And I went on publicizing Baba to be always addressed as the avatar and not Shri Sadguru or Sadguru Meher Baba, nothing of that sort. To impress upon the minds, I used to get letters with the same old address, Shri Meher Baba, Shri Meher Baba or Meher Baba, or Shri Sadguru Meher Baba, to return those letters and ask them to address Avatar Meher Baba, and then I would only receive the letters, open and respond. I did that quite a few times. And then the Avatar, the name Avatar was established. I once asked a question to Baba. In the beginning, Baba, why didn't you, first of all, he was just known as the foremost disciple of Upasni Maharaj. He was not known even as the perfect master, but in Manzil-e-Mim, he of course made our minds very clear that he was the perfect master, but never did he say that he was the avatar. So I happened to ask questions. Of course, Baba would not very clearly give replies. He gave replies when he felt like, and that also were really, according to us, very inadequate, and the reason best known to him. So I said, Baba, why such a late period? You should have called yourself, you should have declared yourself of the avatar and not in the beginning. At that time he said some things, people are not prepared to this and that, and even today I say they are not prepared to take this. Because avatar is such a thing, it's very difficult to trust in their mind. If he's a saint, thousands of people, even in India, I must tell you, and I, for the matter of that, don't feel any sorry about it at all. It is best to wait and to have a man who gets the conviction of the avatar, rather to have 10,000 people right now who believes in Meher Baba as the saint. Because that is wrong. In his highest of the high booklet, he said, I'm neither a guru, I'm not a rishi, I'm not a muni, I'm not this, I'm not that. If I'm anything else, I'm the highest of the high, or nothing at all. So I would prefer one man to 1,000 people who would believe me as a saint, and one man believes as the avatar. I was very much perturbed in the beginning. Baba said that my name will go round and round and round and all that. What he said was really true. It is going to come about. It is only a question of time. In the case of all the previous avatars, the same thing has happened. In the case of Christ, handful of fishermen were there, and now you see millions of people. But 2,000 years, here 7 years, 8 years are not elapsed. There's a time lag. And we have to accept this and go on with whatever little work we are able to do for Baba. It seems there is no question anybody is asking. Yes.
About the question of obedience. Many people read the discourses and they say that the discourses were dictated by Baba for his mandali. They were dictated a long time ago, and they are not meant for Westerners, not meant for modern people. This business about sex and celibacy and all that.
I think they want to make it very convenient for themselves. It is not that. All the points in the discourses, the first two discourses were written by me. Baba gave me the points on the article selfishness and unselfishness. At Meherabad, I was sitting in that jhopri at a distance from the main Mandli hall, and I wrote them out. And I read them before Baba, and I said on my own, I suggested, Baba, I'm not a writer at all, so this must be edited by somebody, and Dr. Deshmukh is the right man. So he was called there. And then later on, Baba wanted to dictate me all the points. I said, no, Baba, let him take all the points and let him write, and then we'll check it up. So every time, all the points were given, they were written, and Baba went through, many changes were made, and until it was finally approved by him, they were not printed at all. So this is it. These are not applicable. Are the instructions different to the Easterners or the Westerners? I cannot conceive of such a thing at all. They are for all. And let alone the discussion, I am telling you, as an evidence. All what is written in the discussions, most of it, and even in God Speaks, I have heard from Baba directly. For 3 years, discourses practically every day he used to give us and he used to talk. And later on through the alphabet board, I have heard so much directly. Most of it, almost all. In addition to this, something else was given. I shall give you a point. I do not know, it may even appear in the discourses or not. He used to say that greater the the greater the struggle before God realization, the greater the power after God realization. It may have been given, because I have not gone through all the discourses. I don't think, except in God Speaks, I have not gone through any of the books right from cover to cover. So that is it. I cannot conceive of such a thing. For the Easterner something, for the Westerner something, and the discourses are not applicable to this and to that. But I am in evidence to say, all this was heard of by me, directly by many other old Mandali members like Padri, like Gustaji, of course, is no more, and Niru for a time was there, Vishnu was there, Pendu was there, Baba's brother Jar was there for a time, but he was not much interested in it, and so forth. Just like my cousin Saroji says, I am not interested in discourses. I am prepared to give my service and love to Baba as much as is possible for me. And if there is any question and answer, you go to Hari and talk about it, and I don't know about the discourses. He was a very simple, nice, straightforward man, and it is not necessary for everyone to really read and study the discourses. But as I say, the necessity of it arises. If I love Meher Baba, and I get that peaceful happiness, whatever I find advantages to me, I always have a desire somebody else will share that. And for the matter of that, if somebody happens to be absolutely a foreigner, not knowing anything about Meher Baba, then you must have a proper understanding of Meher Baba, not only understanding but a conviction of him. Then you are able to explain to him something and get him done. So there the necessity of this understanding arises. Otherwise, there are many educated, uneducated devotees of Baba, lovers of Baba. They never read a single page of any discourse or any book of Baba at all. But I tell you, their understanding was greater than our understanding, uneducated. See, they loved Baba, loved so much that they could feel the whole thing, what it was all about. Any more you have to say, sir? Please.
Adi, you talked earlier about love and discipline, and you said you would talk about discipline later. Can you talk about that now?
Discipline is something as obedience. Discipline and obedience both go hand in hand. And if somebody says that I do not have that love at all, I am not able to love Meher Baba, what shall I do? Still he has the eagerness. He has the eagerness to understand Meher Baba and to obey him. But he says he hasn't got love and he's not fully prepared for obedience at all. So I say, there is one thing in your hand, your own free will and the strength of your decision. You can decide today, right now, that I am going to obey Meher Baba. Love may be there, love may not be there. And you go by and do it. And Baba says that obedience is even higher than love. It's a gift from the disciple to the master. So in times to come, his position will stand so high in the estimation of Baba. And then he will gift you with his love. It will come to you. You won't have to go after it. Now, this discipline business is really not difficult. It is just a matter of habit. Now, let me tell you, I am used to eating dal and rice, and you are used to eating hot dogs. That is your way, this is my way. So for me to change, it's difficult. But if I want to, I can. If I say, no, I'm too weak, I'm not able to do, that means I don't want to do. You don't want to do. I will take it this way. There is such a thing as a difficulty. It is always there, but it may be difficult, but it's not impossible. If you want to do, you will do. So I say, if the approach is not through love, it can be through discipline. And the discipline would entirely rest on your decision, the strength of your decision. And you can do it. You can achieve it. If not this way, this way. So you cannot say Baba is absolutely out of your reach. We have brought him down to the level of our own intellect through which you can approach and hold on to his daman. But I can't do means I don't want to do. That's all. Supposing a crisis arises in your life, something happens. I am used to sleeping on a very soft bed. And I do not know, by ill luck or by some accident, I happen to be convicted. And I go to jail. And I have to sleep on the ground, a very hard ground. What will you say? I can't do. Can you say you can't do? If you say you can't do, there will be no way left for you at all. You will have to stand up if you can't sleep all night. So one should have at least that seriousness. Or else, in mere asking a question out of mere curiosity has no value. You cannot treat Meher Baba's literature and Meher Baba like a newspaper, read it and throw it like this. You can't do it. It's a very serious thing. And you cannot read anything about Meher Baba, you cannot know anything about Meher Baba and keep your life absolutely diverse from it. This is a folly. You can't do it. You should not do it. Otherwise, you won't understand anything of, and you won't gain anything from him. On the other hand, your life has to be wedded to him. So I find out a way, if it cannot be wedded to his love, it can be wedded to the discipline. It can be wedded through your decision to his discipline. And you go to the same goal. But if you are not serious about it, then God help or Baba help, I do not know. Better luck next birth and better luck next birth and still next birth. And the man loses an opportunity. That is it. I tell you, we are so fortunate that we do not know if we ever live. Or, of course, we are not going to live and we are not going to have that knowledge even after we go on coming over and over again, say after a few hundred years, as to the following of Baba, how much it will go to and reach. Now even in Ahmednagar, there are people so reticent, having known Baba, they don't go. But when they see a man from 10,000 miles, an American comes and goes, takes Baba's darshan, then he opens his eyes, oh, there will be something in Meher Baba, let us go. That is the state of affair with Avatar always. And I do not know why it should be so. And I personally have asked questions to him. And he says, you do not understand, you keep quiet, it is our law. All right, it is your law, you confront it. We can't do anything at all. It has been always the same. And history does not give a man a lesson at all. Every time the avatar has come, he has been molested. How can Meher Baba? Yesterday he was studying in Deccan College, Pune, a small boy. How can he become the avatar? And who was Muhammad? Who was Christ? Who was Zoroaster? Who was Rama? Who was Krishna? But the intellect of man is too sharp. And it helps him and also it degrades him. Yes, you wanted to say something?
Sometimes a person brings you to Baba and will insist they are a part of your relationship with Baba, kind of a wedge between you and Baba.
Ah, that's a very good point you have brought up.
Bobby, would you repeat the question?
Repeat the question? Yes. Which Jack Small asked?
Yeah.
He says, if I am responsible in enlisting your attention and maybe later on your love for Meher Baba, I am instrumental in drawing you to Meher Baba. Then if I find that you are drawn fully to Meher Baba, I must receive. I must not stand there with a sword in my hand and always tell him, oh, don't forget that I was the man to take you to Meher Baba. And you can't go directly unless you consult it to me. I am there all the time. This is our great ego, sir. I don't say I was immune from it, I was the same, and anybody is likely to be the same, but I have really found this should not be so. What is our work? What is the purpose of our work? If you really boil down the entire work anybody is doing in the world for Meher Baba, what is it? To bring a man to Meher Baba and see that he loves Meher Baba, that is all. But if that work is there, why should I stand in between there? Always suggesting him my importance about it. And he doesn't cease to respect you, because he always will remember that you are the person to take him to Meher Baba. But why? Going out of your way, I must come and stand there. I shall give you an instance. A Parsi gentleman in Bombay, he had a little Parsi following. This was in the 30s, sir. No, not 30s, 40s. He had a Parsi following, and somehow we managed to bring him near Baba, and he evinced interest. He showed that he had some love for Meher Baba and all that. And Baba, I especially and few others, recommended him to Baba, and Baba started taking interest in him, and wished to actually help him to do his work amongst the Parsis, and also introduce Meher Baba among the Parsis, because Parsis has always been very much averse to Meher Baba, very much against Meher Baba all the time. Now the position is very much changed today. And there are quite a number of, he had about 200 to 300 persons. 200 to 300 Parsis means it's a great number, sir. Then what happened? But he was such a type of man, he had a good delivery, he used to give nice talks only in Gujarati, in no other language. And about Baba's messages, of course, he used to mess up everything, I remember, years ago. But that we did not bother so long that he evoked love of Meher Baba in the hearts of all those Parsis, and he was really successful. One day what happened, Baba had gone to Nagpur, 500 miles away from Ahmednagar. And he had brought his parties over there. There was a huge, big program over there. Now the entire party had come there, so many men, and Baba was prepared to give darshan. I was there standing by, and I wanted that they should. So he comes forward and says, no, they cannot have darshan unless I am present. I said, what is this? I do not know. All of you cannot go and present yourself. Now, I do not know whether Baba wants your presence or not. If say one after another, they can go, infuse, take Baba's darshan, and retire from at the other end of the house. And why should you be present? He said, no, I must be present. I was really confused. I did not listen to him. I managed that the entire party I took to, managed to take them to Baba and had their darshan, and he was very much perturbed over it. So I just give an example. From that day I took a note, what is this nonsense? I mean, the work that I have done for Baba, he is neutralizing the work which he himself did for Baba. And what has he done? It has heightened my ego to such an extent that I am such an important man. And the rest of them are all just below me. So this is a thing, I tell you, it is most difficult thing, but it has been made very easy by Baba for Mandli. And that's why none of the Mandli will ever present themselves as something higher or something of that world, something bigger or greater. I always say that in the family of Baba lovers, we do not want apostles or saints at all. We want Meher Baba's servants and slaves to do his work. Now the slave of Meher Baba may be a greater than apostle, I do not know. That is Meher Baba's and God's concern. I am not a judge at all. But for the matter of Baba's work, we have to remain his servant all along. Why? I don't say, because I have to say. Not at all. Baba was saying this all. We have heard from him for all these years. Never did he give any importance to a man who claimed himself as something. Because the avataric period is such. It comes once in nearly 1,000 years. And those who get round him, come within the orbit of his love, they need nothing at all. To go nowhere, neither, no saint, even a perfect master, he objects to go. He doesn't want you to go anywhere at all. He wants you always to have your hand on his daman. And he doesn't want you to profess yourself as any something higher. If you see the history of Meher Baba, I will say, who is the man to whom Meher Baba has given God realization? People ask me questions. Say, how do you call him the avatar? I said, that is why I call him the avatar. When they ask me, he did not give, I said, he did not give God realization to a single person. How could he be avatar? I said, that is why I call him the avatar. He does not want to give God realization to even his old mandali. He will give when he wants to give. It is entirely in his hand for work. But first he will get the work extracted from him. Maybe in this life, maybe in the several future lives. Then when he wants to give, he will give. But why should he give to a handful of persons? His spirituality, his spiritual treasure is meant for the whole world. He wants to distribute to the whole world when the time comes. And for the matter of that, I say, he has created a universal trust. Not this trust which is functioning under the King's Road. That's a different trust. I mean the inner trust. The inner trust he has created, the universal trust. And the benefit of trust will go to every individual of the world when he becomes an adult, when he becomes deserving to receive that benefit. And everything, so all work is going on slowly and surely. There is no haste about anything. All the other movements you will see. You see, they just come up as if you open a bottle of pop and you get all the foam, it subsides in time. Like 7-Up or Coca-Cola, and it never lasts. Baba's work is slow, but sure. It may be difficult to understand, but once it is there, it is always there. And Baba wants to give you something, once given, never lost. He doesn't want to give you tidbits of experience here and there. That can be had anywhere. Baba says, I'm not the retailer, I'm the wholesaler. So you decide what you want. If you want half a pound of sugar, you go to a drugstore and you get a bite. Why do you come to me? If you want the entire machinery to manufacture sugar, I will give you. But wait for that. You'll have to wait. But man doesn't want to wait. He's in haste all the time. So this is Meher Baba. Nothing sensational, nothing mystical.